Chapter 1. The Double-Edged Sword of Barbarossa. Saturday, the 21st of June, 1941, produced a perfect summer's morning. Many Berliners took the train out to Potsdam to spend the day in the park of Sanssouci. Others went swimming from the beaches of the Wannsee or the Nikolassee. In cafes, the rich repertoire of jokes about Rudolf Hess's flight to Britain had given way to stories about an imminent invasion of the Soviet Union. Others, dismayed at the idea of a much wider war, rested their hopes upon the idea that Stalin would cede the Ukraine to Germany at the last moment. In the Soviet embassy on the Unter den Linden, officials were at their posts. An urgent signal from Moscow demanded an important clarification of the huge military preparations along the frontiers from the Baltic to the Black Sea. Valentin Berezhkov, the first secretary and chief interpreter, rang the German Foreign Office on the Wilhelmstrasse to arrange a meeting. He was told that Reichsminister Joachim von Ribbentrop was out of town and that Staatssekretär Freiherr von Weizsäcker could not be reached by telephone. As the morning passed, more and more urgent messages arrived from Moscow demanding news. There was an atmosphere of repressed hysteria in the Kremlin as the evidence of German intentions mounted, adding to more than 80 warnings received over the previous 8 months. The deputy head of the NKVD had just reported that there were no fewer than 39 aircraft incursions over the state border of the USSR during the previous day. The Wehrmacht was quite shameless in its preparations, yet the lack of secrecy seems only to have confirmed the idea, in Stalin's convoluted mind, that this must all be part of a plan by Adolf Hitler to extract greater concessions. The Soviet ambassador in Berlin, Vladimir Dekhanozov, shared Stalin's conviction that it was all a campaign of disinformation, originally started by the British. He even dismissed the report of his own military attaché that 180 divisions had deployed along the border. Dekhanozov, a protégé of Lavrenti Beria, was yet another Georgian and a senior member of the NKVD. His experience of foreign affairs had gone little beyond interrogating and purging rather more practiced diplomats. Other members of the mission, although they did not dare express their views too forcefully, had little doubt that Hitler was planning to invade. They'd even sent on the proofs of a phrasebook prepared for invading troops, which had been brought secretly to the Soviet consulate by a German communist printer. Useful terms included the Russian for surrender, hands up, where is the collective farm chairman, are you a communist, and I'll shoot. Berezhkov's renewed telephone calls to the Wilhelmstrasse were met by the statement that Ribbentrop is not here and nobody knows when he will return. At midday he tried another official, the head of the political department. I believe something's going on at Führer headquarters. Very probably everybody's there. But the German foreign minister was not out of Berlin. Ribbentrop was busy preparing instructions to the German embassy in Moscow, headed Urgent, State Secret. Early the next morning, some 2 hours after the invasion began, the ambassador, Count Friedrich Werner von der Schulenburg, was to convey to the Soviet government a list of grievances to serve as the pretext. As the Saturday afternoon in Berlin turned to evening, the messages from Moscow grew increasingly frantic. Berezhkov rang the Wilhelmstrasse every 30 minutes. Still no senior functionary would accept his call. From the open window of his office he could see the old-fashioned Schutzmann helmets of the police guarding the embassy. Beyond them, Berliners were taking a Saturday evening stroll on the Unter den Linden. The polarity between war and peace had a bewildering air of unreality. The Berlin-Moscow Express was about to pass through the waiting German armies and cross the frontier as if nothing were amiss. In Moscow, the Soviet Foreign Minister Molotov summoned Count von der Schulenburg to the Kremlin. The German ambassador, after overseeing the destruction of the embassy's secret papers, set off for the meeting called for 9:30. When challenged with the evidence of German preparations, he did not admit that an invasion was about to take place. He simply expressed his astonishment that the Soviet Union could not understand the situation and refused to answer any questions until he